we start to cut out these stencils, I just want to go through the equipment a little bit with you. I don't want to drone on. So you need to have something to protect your worktop. This is just a cheap cutting mat from, I think it might be an Aldi, but you can get them from most craft shops. You need a ruler. You need some kind of knife. Now I use a scalpel, but it's personal preference of what kind of knife. You could use a Stanley knife. Try not to use one where the blade actually wiggles around as you use it, because it makes it more difficult to cut it around. You may need a pair of scissors, or you could use a knife, and you need a ruler. So let's talk about rulers. You could use a plastic ruler. The danger of using a plastic ruler or even a flat steel ruler is that as you cut in, the blade could slip, which is what happened to me, and I actually cut quite a big piece of this off, this finger here off. So just be aware of that if you use a flat ruler. I'm going to use a safety ruler. That means my fingers are out of the way of the blade, and at the back there is some little strips that stop it slipping around. You need to have printed off the stencil blank, which is this. So let's have a go. Now if you look at this, there's 3 stencils. There's the very simple, easy to cut out praise. There's the harder one that's got the curves on it, and you've got your background stencil. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do this by eye. You can do it with scissors. Is I'm going to separate the stencil up, because I'm going to cut out the center stencil. So now I've got 3 stencils to work with. I'm not going to bother with that one, because it's that one's the one I'm going to use. So making sure that you hold your ruler securely and it doesn't move, and put your blade right up against the line. And I suggest you put a brand new blade in for this. You don't need card that's very thick. This is quite thin card. It's the same card that I use on the video, it's just I'm cutting out a fresh stencil for you. So I'm going all the lines, I'm going to each letter at once. I'm doing all the lines that are vertical, and then I'm going to do all the lines that are horizontal. And then I've got to freehand the curve. So all I'm doing is I'm putting my blade in, and I'm just trying to do it in one movement, just taking my time, keeping my fingers away from the blade, because I know how clumsy I am. Now you can stop and turn the paper like that. Stop, turn the paper till you get back to where you've already cut, and pull the letter out. As with all stencils, you won't get a centre in any of these letters. So I'm going to show you that process again. We're going to do all the vertical and horizontal lines, and I've got a couple of diagonals in this R. So while I've got my ruler while I've got my ruler in that angle, I'm going to do them all together. And then I'm going to one movement, keeping my fingers away from my blade, and if I need to turn it, I keep my blade in. It's a bit like if anybody of you sewers, when you pivot rather, on a sewing machine, you get your needle in. I bought images of pirouetting on a sewing machine, that'd be interesting. Now if at any point it's difficult to pull out, I'll do one more to show you. Here I haven't done very well with my R, so you've got the choice to go back if you want, but getting little bits off are really quite tricky. Let me just show you on the eye what I mean. So as I cut it out, I'm going to deliberately not cut that out very well. So this one, as I pick it up, I've deliberately left that bit to show you. Don't pull it, just get your blade and release that corner, like so. Otherwise you'll rip the stencil. So what you need to do before the lesson is, before the workshop, is to print these off onto card. I use scrap card for the one I've done in the lesson. get them prepped. You're going to need one of the praises unless you want to use both. This one's got a slightly different E to it, and then you need that one as well. And I'll see you in the main lesson.